All right, folks. So this is the first in our prospects for the Pride series about Detroit Lions potential Detroit prospect. Our first guest analyst is going to be Alex Reno from Pride OT Detroit, breaking down offensive tackle T.J. Clemmings. And Alex, when you look at him, how did he first appear on your radar, and what stood out to you?
Well, I'd say the first thing that stands out is how raw of a prospect that he is. I mean, he's a converted defensive end. He's only played right tackle for about 2 years, I believe, at Pittsburgh. Um, One thing that really jumps out to you is how strong the guy is. I think I mentioned in my article on Pride of Detroit that either the ACC competition is extremely weak or Clemens is like the strongest 305-pound offensive tackle I've ever seen because he just latches onto the guys and just drives them into the ground. It's pretty impressive, but he does need work on his pass protection. I mean, he shows some flashes every once in a while, but I like to see his footwork get a lot better. I think it was against Virginia. It wasn't even their best prospect, Eli Harold. It was just some random guy that just completely pushed him to the ground and made him look like an idiot. Um, I'd like to see him definitely work on his pass protection, but other than that, I mean, he has a lot of talent. He just needs some coaching.
Well, and so I guess I mean that's a pretty good jump on the weaknesses, and I guess as far as his strengths, well, his strength. But so does that mean going away from the pass protection then? So is his run game where he really establishes himself as a potential first rounder to you?
I believe so. I think the athleticism and the power. For instance, the athleticism. There was one play, forget who it was against, but they a couple of times they threw like a screen to the receiver on the right side of the field, and they used Clemmings to actually roll out and be the lead blocker on the screen, which I thought was kind of strange
Wow.
because I never really seen that from an offensive tackle. So I mean, if you can just imagine throwing a design screen to Golden Tate and having Clemmings as like your lead blocker, and he actually carried that block out pretty perfectly too, and the receiver got like I don't know 15 yards. So that's something you don't
That's
really see with offensive tackles, and I think
well,
he has a lot of upside.
Well, and that's obviously, yeah, Detroit has the right guy outside and to that side to run those wide receiver screens, especially, yeah, if he could do that in the pros, that would be phenomenal. I guess kind of projecting him a little bit, let's say he does land in Detroit, is he going to ever push for that left side? We just had a podcast which we're going to kind of drop this into the end of while keeping the prospects for the Pride thing as its own video series as well. He talked about Clemmings very briefly and said that he thinks solely a right tackle. Is that how you see him as well? Is that where would he come in and immediately challenge or kick out Adrian Waddle?
Um, I think eventually he can develop into a left tackle. I mean, right away, I don't think he's gonna beat Riley Reed for the left tackle position. I think right away he can compete for the right tackle spot. He can compete with Adrian Waddle, Cornelius, Lucas, whoever's trying to get that starting position. If he loses, I think he can play guard. I think left guard is a possibility. I mean, he does have the raw strength to play guard. So if he can't win the right tackle spot right away, I think he can definitely compete for the left guard spot and maybe develop into right or left tackle.
Now, Alex, Clemmings, he played just 2 seasons on the offensive line. Both were at right tackle. In the Senior Bowl, Mike Mayock noted that his issues were technique related. He'd never played left tackle. He thought that was why he struggled in the Senior Bowl, but still that he could potentially fall a little bit in the draft. Is this someone that you think could really be there when the Lions finally get on the clock, or is this someone that they might have to move up to try and get?
Honestly, I think it's all going to depend on his combine. I mean, if he blows everybody out of the water and runs like I don't know sub 5 or just really impressive at the combine, I don't think he's going to be there. I think top 15 is a possibility. I'm hoping he can get there. I think it's a possibility. It's way too early to tell, but I think top 20, top 25 anywhere in between there. I think it is a possibility that he'll be there for the Lions.
Well, from your lips to God's ears, we'll see if this happens. Maybe we'll. It seems like you staked quite a bit on this T.J. Clemmings pick, so we'll be sure to.
Yeah, he better be good, or else I'm gonna look like an idiot.
So everybody needs to make sure that you find Alex on Twitter, Alex_Reno, and go ahead and bookmark this when it comes out. And if Clemens sucks, go ahead and tweet him. All the sarcastic things you want.
Go ahead.
But as Alex at least kind of mentioned, we might have mentioned at the top of the show, he's writing for PrideOfDetroit.com. So that's where you can find his work. And we want to thank you for helping us kick off the series, Alex.
All right, thanks for having me, guys.
Alrighty, folks, that was the first episode. Look for this to hopefully be a weekly thing as we move towards the draft. And well, Nick, I guess I'm not used to signing off things, so later.